Welcome to Sunday mornings at MABA. MABA, Mid-America Buddhist Association's monastery, is located on over 70 acres in Augusta, Missouri, just outside St. Louis. We welcome those who are here in person, on Zoom, and on Facebook. If you would like a weekly reminder for our programs, please email Don Shushu, DONSHU at cbt-stl.com. Again, welcome everyone today to Manjushri Blessing Day. This is one of the holidays, we can say, of the Buddhist year. We're going to be talking about Manjusri Bodhisattva and its relevance to our daily lives. Well, thank you for putting up the slides this morning. And again, welcome all of you who are here at MABA, people who are on Zoom, as I am, and people who are on Facebook. Welcome. So in the next slide, we can see Manjushri, the Bodhisattva of Wisdom. This is a statue that we have at Manjushri Hall here at the monastery. And so today I want to talk in the next slide about what is wisdom? This is a big question. And how do we apply it to our daily life? So I'm going to talk about one aspect of wisdom. Are we wise enough to be able to pronounce this word? Yataputta Nanya Dasana. This is a big word, quite a mouthful. I'm going to focus my attention on this aspect of wisdom today. There are many ways to look at wisdom. So this one aspect of wisdom, we can say, translates as knowledge and vision of things as they are. This is an interesting topic. In the next slide, I'm going to talk about a cautionary tale. So many years ago, in around 1970 or so, when I was in college, my roommate Larry, who was a computer science major back in those early days, came back to our apartment on Des Moines, and he said, "I'm leaving. I'm not learning anything about computers here." This was at Washington University, a pretty good school. I was surprised. But Larry, he packed up his car and he drove off. And a few years later, he ended up in a town south of San Francisco working in a fruit factory. Actually, it was Apple computers. This is a picture of Apple computer back in the 1970s, before they built their big spaceship headquarters. So Larry, in the next slide, was very successful working for Apple, as you can well imagine, starting in those early days. He bought a house on the side of a mountain in Belmont, overlooking San Francisco Bay. But after retiring, Larry became interested in VR, virtual reality. And he spent hours visiting constructed visual worlds. But because he had a fear of heights, he found himself having physical sensations as if he were flying. He would go into the visual worlds of other people, the virtual realities. Sometimes it didn't have a floor, and he felt like he was falling, and he would tell me about how he had nausea and dizziness and lots of anxiety and fear. So would become so anxious at times that he had to take off his headset to remind himself that what he was seeing wasn't real. So when Larry was enjoying the virtual reality, he was having worldly of the flesh happiness, samisa sukha. When Larry was anxious, not enjoying his virtual reality, he was having worldly of the flesh distress, samisa dukkha. And when Larry was having a fleeting moment of peaceful balance in his virtual world, he was having worldly of the flesh equanimity, samisa upekkha. So I questioned myself, are we like this? Are we aware that our minds are constructing our own virtual realities? Do we know how we are caught up in our own mental fabrications? Do we know that we can take off our headset? Do we know we can let go of our mindset? So wisdom is the abandoning of the craving for worldly samisa satisfaction by finding the not of the flesh, niramisa, joy, happiness, and equanimity. This Manjushri, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, he has a place in the virtual Buddhist cosmos. One true Pusa. This is the wisdom of Manjushri. And he belongs to a family, a virtual family, Akshobhya, the Eastern Pure Land, who embodies the mirror-like cognition. When you hold up this mirror to our experience, it reflects back the truth. Sometimes I look in the mirror and in my mind, I see a 35-year-old person. I look in the mirror, I see, 75-year-old person. Oh my, this is the truth. Maybe I need to get a different mirror. So there are these four great bodhisattvas we talk about: Avalokiteshvara, Guan Yin, who is the bodhisattva of compassion, and Manjushri, One Shu, is the bodhisattva of wisdom we talk about today, and Samantabhadra, Pusyin, this is the bodhisattva of the 10 great vows, and Kittigarbha, Dizang, the only monastic in this group, the vows to liberate all beings from the hell realms. So in this virtual reality, we have these four great bodhisattvas constructing the world. In the next one here, we see these are all the statues are found at MABA. In the next one, we have the 5 Tathagata families. They come from families in this virtual world. So rather than to go into all of this today, just to let people know that Akshobhya, Manjushri, and Amitabha is Avalokiteshvara, etc. Those are the two main ones of wisdom and compassion that most people are familiar with when they learn about the Buddhist cosmological order of things. So Manjushri is also associated with a mountain in China, Wutaishan, and this was in the 13th century. This became a major mecca for, I can say mecca, but for many Buddhist schools. And they started building monasteries, and there are over 150 monasteries on the mountain. Many Pure Land School monasteries there as well. And if you want to go visit this place, when the time is right, you can fly into Beijing, and you're only about 225 miles from Wutaishan. And you can then go down to Huayang. If you want to, you can go down there as well, which is a little bit more zoomed in view. So Manjushri is depicted in many ways in this ritual world. It is portrayed as a youth, for example, that has 5 top knots in the hair. Signifies the profound wisdom, the mirror-like wisdom, the wisdom of equanimity, the wisdom of analysis, the wisdom of achieving activities, the wisdom of understanding the nature of phenomena, seeing things as they are. So Manjushri sometimes is depicted with a sword, a little bit misleading in some ways, but because not a violent sword, this is a sword that cuts us off from the attachments, the discrimination of knowing what is wholesome and what is defilement. We cut ourselves off from these attachments and defilements so that we can attain wisdom. Cut ourselves off from the roots of ignorance. Another depiction with a this is the depiction that we have at MABA of Manjushri holding this ceremonial curved object that signifies the good fortune that is attained when a person is able to have wisdom. So there's a little bit of history behind this. I'm not going to go into the history so much of Manjushri and the Ri and how it was used. And there's quite a bit of information out there if you want to investigate this. So when we find our wisdom, what do we find? We find our original mind. And this is a picture of the original mind without discursive thinking. This is Alexandra, one of our new members. And when you meet a child at this stage, this is a picture of her just from last week. Always when I see a child, I want to make sure that they have a good chance of becoming enlightened in this lifetime. So I give them a good advice. I say, beware of discursive thinking. Discursive thinking is when we're thinking all about ourselves, going round and round and round in the mind like a drama-rama, and everything is about ourselves. We're the center of our own drama. That's called discursive thinking. But this baby has no discursive thinking, only discriminating mind, just paying attention, but not much discernment. We have to go to the next slide to see the face of the original mind now with discernment. This mind also does not have any discursive thinking, just discernment. Discernment means wisdom, being able to see things as they are. And what do we see when we see things just as they are? Well, we see the noble truths. We know that the truth of suffering. We know that the cause of suffering is this clinging rooted in ignorance. The belief that, oh, if I can just get what it is that I want, I'll be happy. Not realizing that unhappiness can be the result as well. We hold on to something, eventually it goes away. then we have distress. So the way out of this cessation of suffering, we realize, oh, there's a way to do that in the Nirodha. And then we learn about the path leading to the cessation of suffering, the Eightfold Path. And when we go deeper into the understanding of things, we actually can see the 12 links of dependent origination that are interconnected with the Four Noble Truths. I'm not going to give a talk on this today because it's a whole other subject, but this 12 links of dependent origination or interdependent origination, this is a very deep, one of the deep subjects of Buddhism. And if you go a little bit deeper into it, you can see that it can be unpacked and that each one has 3 main qualities to them. So we can go deeper in this way. So people study this, people who are studying Buddhism and they want to go deeper and understand the nature of how to see the world as it is, they investigate the Four Noble Truths and the 12 links. So these 12 links, as I put them here, and this is from the Upanishad Sutta. This is a very deep topic on how the 12 links are connected to each other. But it also, in this sutta, particularly, it goes deeper. And in the deeper understanding, there's another 12 links. People don't necessarily, unless they go deeply into the study, they don't realize that there are another 12 links. This is called the Transcendent Order. This is the order out of the 12 links of suffering, of dependent origination, where we get stuck. So we move beyond that. And you can see these links of faith and joy, and this spiritual happiness and tranquility, deeper happiness, concentration. And then number 7, here we have our knowledge and vision of things as they are, followed by discernment and dispassion, emancipation, knowledge and destruction of the taints, and the liberation, enlightenment, and nibbana. So we see these different stages. And for those people who are familiar with the 7 factors of enlightenment, the people and familiar with the taints, etc., you can, in the fetters, you can see how all of these things are interconnected with each other. And so instead of there just being 12, there are 24 in all. I can see, we've moved to the next slide, and you can see here how it is represented in Pali and also in Chinese. And in the next slide, we have the meaning of Yata Bhutanyanya Dasana. So Yata means according to, and Bhuta means the true nature of something. So Yata Bhuta means according to the truth or to reality, and Nanya means knowing, and Dasana means to see. So we have the knowledge and vision of things as they are. Now you can impress all of your relatives on Mother's Day with this word. So here we have the true nature of our mother. What is the true nature of our mother? Our mother sets aside her own needs and risks her own life to bring us into the world. And our mother carried us in her womb for 9 months, often uncomfortable for her. And our mother fed and nurtured us for years when we were unable to fend for ourselves. And our mother tried her best to encourage us to develop our talents and capacities. And our mother is impermanent, imperfect, and often selfless. So those of us who were fortunate to have a very loving and caring mother, even that mother we get distressed with, we need to forgive ourselves and forgive our mother. Sometimes we have a mother who is very challenging, not able to provide all of the necessary things for us, but still we recognize that without her bringing us into the world, we wouldn't have this opportunity. And we know about the stress and distress, and so we can utilize that to be very highly motivated to help others who are in distress. So I want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day, a happy Wisdom Day. I know that Alexandra probably got lots of good flowers for her mom today. So our monastery is our mother. We are nurtured and nourished at our monastery. We learn to let go of discursive self-centeredness. We cultivate our wisdom and our discernment. We learn how to be of greater benefit to others. Well, here are a few scenes from our monastery. I look at these pictures from time to time because, like many of us, I haven't been to MABA because of the pandemic for 27 months. Next week, I hope to go for the first time in all of those times. And having been associated with the monastery for 20 years, I've never gone so long. Just maybe when I would go out of town, I would maybe miss 1 or 2 Sundays, but never even more than that. So to be gone for 27 months from my mother monastery, this is a major change. And these are just a few scenes. So going there will be like going for the first time, I'm sure. We have a blue lotus house at MABA. The blue lotus is a representative of Manjushri. And so it has a blue roof, 10,000 square feet, residence for the female monastics, but also having a wisdom hall on the 4th floor on the upper right. And also at the center area there with the big disc on the top, this is a Manjushri hall. And as you can see in the next slide, here's a class. Manjushri hall, people are wearing masks there because this was during the pandemic, difficult times. And we have, you can see the Manjushri statue behind the master there. So when you come to the monastery and you stand out in the fresh air as we have today, and you look at the Thai Buddha statue and the sky above, we're very grateful that we have the Mother Monastery. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be separated from the altruistic joy which is free from suffering. And may all beings live in the great equanimity which is free from attachment, aversion, and ignorance.